first half today?
Yeah, glimpses. I mean, it was nothing like the second half against Ipswich. That was a masterclass, really. I mean, the numbers there show that Liverpool have just edged that first half, but only just. Probably deserved to be 1-0 ahead. Really good goal. But there's room for improvement. And if last week is anything to go by, there will be improvement in the second half, kicking into the Kop end. But it's been a sufficient performance, let's say, so far. Nothing special.
Yeah, they've just done enough in that first half, Glenn?
I think they've got more gears to go through. There's no doubt about it. And you get a sense that I think he'll be happy with a 1-0 Slot, but he'll be saying to him, look, we've got to improve. Like we did last week, we need to reflect on that. We can take this to another level. Because in the Premier League, as we know, and particularly Brentford as well, you're never quite comfortable at 1. 1-0 means nothing, really. They can easily score. They'll get a chance. It's whether they take it. They'll get a chance second half, for sure. 1 or 2, but it's whether they can take it. So he'll want an improved performance. They're doing all right. The game's a bit bitty, actually. There's not too much of a real flow to it. We've just seen a game that's been really open with Chelsea and Wolves, and now this one's a little bit more tighter, a little bit more, some tackles going in, some nasty tackles going in, which a couple might have been bordering on reds, but the referees kept it yellow and kept it cool.
But let's have a look at the all-important goal. New manager at the helm, but same lethal counter-attacking from Liverpool.
Yeah, incredibly. It's a Brentford corner that they score from, and they break really well. I mean, there's a few different aspects to this. I think from Brentford's point of view, they can maybe stop it on the edge of the box. But I love Liverpool's, well, especially Diaz, the timing and the direction of his run. He almost changes direction. We'll see it better in a moment, but it's the timing and the redirection of his run that makes it. Just buys him a couple of extra yards. Good, sweet left-footed straight. Goes for power, and this time it works. Goalkeeper gets a little touch on it, but it's a strange goal in a way because Brentford are a little bit all at sea as well.
Michael, I can't believe what I've seen here, really. I mean, is it non-defensive day or something from the coaches? Because the way they broke and the way that Brentford have actually set up from a corner, it's come from their corner. I'm scratching my head to actually see when Mbeumo is the last player, but he ends up the last player. But I think, as we're hopefully going to show you, he's on the byline from the corner.
Yeah,
We've
he's
circled
on
him
the top end. There he is.
Yeah. Now there's a corner. They're an attack. He makes a little run. Surely he's not meant to be the last man in defence. I think Janelt commits himself. Look at him. He's having to be the last man. He gets caught on. Could he have stepped up if a centre-back was there? He might have been thinking about it. Not really. I think the timing of the run was brilliant. Here's another corner. This is later on. Comes out there. They get a shot in at goal. Just look at this defending. Look at this defending. There's no goal side defender for Brentford. Diaz, if the ball's correct, Michael, a little ball over the top.
It doesn't even have to be that correct, does it?
No.
Anything long or on, anything but short, basically. It's a poor ball. Gravenberch has played a totally underhit ball, but as you say, he's defending 5 players in front of the last man.
You can't go to Anfield and defend like that and expect to win a game.
I was going to say, look, but we all know what a good coach Thomas Frank is. That can't be the instruction from him. Is that the players?
Well, it's the same man both times, and Mbeumo has ended up. He should have been. Well, he shouldn't have been. I'm convinced that he wasn't supposed to be the last man. But in the last clip, he was the last, and he pushed forward and almost let his man go, which was a strange one. But there's a couple of good chances. Obviously, a goal for Liverpool.
Yeah.
There's a couple of good chances for Brentford as well.
Exactly. One of them falling to Christian Norgard.
And this is a hell of a chance. It's a great ball in. He's unopposed. That's why it's such a big chance. He's got to score. He makes a lovely little square run first. Just go square, then darts in between. But my word, he's got to. Michael,
it's a massive chance, isn't it?
It's a big chance,
massive
isn't it?
Chance. He had all the pace on it. It was all he had to do was guide it. The little block as well at the near post there from Brentford, which was clever. Not enough to give a foul, but Norgard had to score.
Yeah, but as long as Liverpool only have a 1-goal advantage, that will no doubt serve as a warning going into the second half.
Luis Diaz with Alexis McAllister providing the translation skills there, and Virgil van Dijk joins us now. Virgil, actually, you said Luis Diaz English is coming along quite nicely. It's just the confidence to do interviews, isn't it?
Yeah, obviously it's not easy being a Colombian in England, and but obviously he's doing well. He's doing well, and I'm pleased for him. Obviously it's much needed. Obviously the football language on the pitch is quite easy to, not easy, but it's it's good to understand. But obviously, outside of football, you want him to communicate properly as well. And he's doing a good job. And together with Darwin, they're on it, and that's very important.
So a goal and an assist for him in that 2-0 victory, but more importantly, as a defender, a clean sheet with both those opening victories.
Yeah, obviously, it all starts with that. Of course, it sounds very cliche, maybe, but we all defend together. It's the hard work we put in. I think you see how quickly we try to, when they counter-attack on us, to be behind the ball and defend it all together, whatever happens. And it's a good start, and we have something to build on. And let's see.
You say it is a very good start, 6 points, exactly what you wanted, Virgil. And in the media, we're all trying to find out the differences between Slot and Klopp. What are the subtle differences on and off the pitch that you've noticed since the new manager's come in?
Well, I won't say I'm a bit annoyed, but I think, the time with Jurgen was amazing, and the time with Arne, with the new boss, is there now. And, he has the certain way of playing out from the back. The way we defend, a lot of meetings, but in obviously a very, very detailed. And we work a lot on so many good things, and I think you see so many patterns during the game, with and without the ball, that gives a lot of confidence and structure to the team. But like I said, we have to, I won't say forget about the Jurgen period, but obviously that's the past. We had an amazing time, and now it's time for the new boss to hopefully be successful, and that's what we have to focus on, not on comparison and all this stuff. I think that's the main thing in my opinion.
How's it been as captain under the new manager? Has things changed for you? How's it been sort of, easing the players in and taking on board new ideas?
Obviously we don't have new players so far, so there's no new players in yet. But obviously there's that extra responsibility, because obviously I know the players inside out and the manager and the backroom stuff. Not yet, but obviously I'm here for him, and I told him that from day one, and he has that full trust, or whatever he needs, I'm there for him, and I will do and help him and the backroom stuff as much as possible. And because there's only one thing I want to be successful, and that's what he wants, and that's what the rest of the team wants as well. So we're all in the same boat, and I think that extra responsibility is there, but I enjoy it.
You say you want to be successful, Virgil. There's going to be a question that's going to be asked of you a lot this season. You've got less than a year left on your contract. How do you feel about that right now? Is that something that you're just going to look at in the future, or are you looking to get it sorted as quickly as you can?
I'm very calm. Very calm.
If I can play like you, I'll be calm as well.
I'm very calm. The thing is, I want to play the best season I can again. I want to be important and stay important for the club. And this year, whatever happens next year, we'll see. Anything happens for a reason. That's how I see it. And for now, there's been no changes in my situation, but I'm very calm about it. And there's no reason for me to start thinking for something else, because I have a whole season to play for still, and hopefully it will be a successful one.
Jamie Carragher was talking during the game, and he come up with a stat. This is your 100th game at Anfield. You've only lost 2. That's pretty good, right?
Yeah, that's not bad.
Are you thinking about the 2 you lost?
Oh, yeah. I do actually. Yeah. I do actually. Obviously, the Leeds one was a painful one. But no, listen, I'm proud, and it's home. And it's a special place, and what I said as well before, whatever happens in the future, Anfield is a special place to my heart, and very successful as well. So let's see what the season brings.
What you say about what the season might bring, obviously it's a new manager, fresh start, clear slate in terms of expectations, or is it still something, that, do you still have the same goals?
Well, I'm not playing football to lose or not become successful. Obviously it's never guaranteed, like we all seen in the past. I want to win, and in every competition that we are competing in, I want to go as far as possible and win it. And obviously we know how difficult that is, but playing for a club like Liverpool, one of the best, if not the best football club in the world, you have these expectations. You see the fans, you see the fan base around the world. It's amazing to be wearing that shirt, and for me personally, being the captain of the club as well. So let's see. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm really enjoying it so far, but there's still so much to improve for the team, for myself. Let's see what it brings.
Virgil, thanks for coming out to talk to us.
Thank you very much.
Good to speak to you. Thank you.
See
Thanks
you
very
guys,
much.
Virgil.
Congratulations on the win as well. Look, let's take a look. As we said, it was important for Liverpool to keep clean sheets in those opening 2 games. We talk about the kind of control that Arne Slot seems to want from his sides. But if you keep a clean sheet, if you want to win the game, you're going to have to score as well. So they get the goal, and it looks as though it's an opportunity that they've spotted that Brentford might be able to give them, because it comes straight from a Brentford corner.
Yeah, and it's a brilliant counter-attack from Liverpool. I think it comes from, the sense from Jota initially just to pounce on the loose ball. We spoke at half-time about Brentford's positioning here being quite poor, ringing the box. But for me, it's all about Jota. He sniffs out the danger, but it's the timing of when he releases this pass. It's perfect. And then Diaz's first touch, he doesn't take him wider away from the goal. It kind of keeps the ball flowing into his path. And the finish is emphatic. It's brilliant. And you just look there, the run, decides where he wants Jota to put the ball from Diaz. And then this finish, it's all about the composure in the moment. When you've been running at top speed to deliver that level of finish, brilliant finish, and got Liverpool up and running.
Jamie Carragher's made his way down to talk to us as well. Jamie, we're just joined by Virgil van Dijk, who was talking about, we were saying he's getting a little impatient with the comparisons between Arne Slot and Jurgen Klopp. He said it's just a new slate, it's about whatever the new manager can do. What did you think in terms of Slot's second game in charge, second competitive game in charge and first home game?
I think it was interesting in a number of ways, in that I thought the atmosphere was strange today, considering it was the first home game of a season. Is that something to do with the sort of the style of play is going to be different from Jurgen Klopp? It's not going to be as end-to-end. So maybe is there something in that, or I don't know, just seemed a strange atmosphere. The other thing I would say is last season was just like a roller coaster ride for Liverpool supporters. And it was so exciting. You'd come out of the game, a last-minute winner, or you'd come from behind, and it felt like every game was like almost like a cup final. Liverpool needed more games like that last season. They needed more games like that. And that was almost like a Man City performance, in that the game felt finished as soon as the second goal went in. It didn't feel like there was much jeopardy in the game. And again, I don't think Arne Slot's Liverpool are going to be as exciting as Jurgen Klopp's. It's almost impossible. We could all name probably 15, 20 games now over those 8 years under Jurgen Klopp that were just, wow, 4-3s, 3-2s, last-minute winners. It's going to be different under Arne Slot. And I'm just interested to know, or sort of feel, as the months go on, how it affects the atmosphere and sort of, the support watching it. Because it did feel a strange atmosphere, but it is going to be slightly different. But who knows, it still might prove to be as successful, if not more. Because as I said, last season, the way Liverpool played, they couldn't keep it going behind, getting last-minute goals. It wasn't sustainable. They needed more games like that, and if Liverpool win more games like that, 2-3-0 and comfortable at home, it'll put them in a great position.
And that's not to say that there isn't some fantastic football in there, and we saw that with the second goal as well, Jamie. Yeah,
there were some great patterns of play. It really was, and there was a great battle. Jamie, you mentioned it a lot between Ayer and Mohamed Salah. And this is one of the only times he really let him out of his sight, because here you see Brentford have got good possession. He now thinks I'm going to be in a good position, and now Mo Salah's a killer in these positions. He realises Ayer's out the way, get that ball to me as quickly as you can. He opens up that left foot of his and just guides it. It's a delicious finish. And that's the difference in these games, because Ayer was so good with him for 17 minutes, kept him tight, didn't really give him a lot of chance. And then all of a sudden it opens up. Liverpool win the ball back high, Szoboszlai, and then they get the ball to him. Luis Diaz, great pass. And that is such a good finish, because really you look at it, that's probably on his right foot, but he opens his body up and just curls it into the corner. It's delicious. It's a beautiful finish.
And in terms of Mo Salah's contribution to Liverpool, we've seen it so often over the years. And we talked to Virgil about what his plans were. He said, I'm getting to the end of this season. As far as I'm concerned, nothing has changed, but this place feels like home. Mo Salah's another player that people will be concerned about tying him down in terms of his future.
Yeah, I think with Liverpool fans, I think, there's probably more of an expectation that Mo Salah will be gone rather than staying, because it's there's been murmurs about him, in recent years. But just going back to that, that finish there, like I was saying to Jamie up in the studio, I don't think you'd want any other player in that position, one-on-one with the goalkeeper, the way he's opened up his body and finished. And he's done it for so many years. And what an athlete, what a player, what a professional. And no matter what, he turns up and he puts in 100% all the time. And just the way he opens his body, his shoulders and the disguise on the shot, it's just brilliant. And he's a wonderful player to watch, and hopefully he does stay in the Premier League. I was just wondering as well, because when it went to VAR to check whether or not he was offside, I'm not sure of the numbers on this, but it feels like it's very rare that Mohamed Salah is offside, and particularly in a weekend in which we've seen some really close decisions, and there's maybe been some criticism of players in terms of their timing. That's something that
that Salah is so confident and so experienced in, Jamie?
Yeah, because he makes that run so often. That's his game. You know, you see he's on the last line there, and more often than not he gets it right. He makes that run so often. I go back to his first game I ever saw him play was away at Watford. I think Liverpool drew 3-3, first game of his season, and you could tell what type of play he was from the first game. It was all about making penetrating runs. It wasn't really about getting the ball wide and beating your full back. He was a wide forward, so he probably makes that run 10, 15 times a day in training, making that run, trying to run behind people. And you think of Núñez, who come on, one of the first actions he was involved in, he was offside, I think from a Harvey Elliott cross. And I said, that's something that, if he doesn't fix that, he's never going to become a player at Liverpool. He's just not. But Mo Salah, I think when you think of wide forwards, the way the game sort of evolved from sort of a striker getting the goals and a winger crossing it in, it's now someone making those penetrating runs. I know you're not...
I'm not even listening
I'm talking to you and you're not even looking at me.
Really nice to meet you.
Does anyone ever listen to him?
No. I tell you
that's
what,
the clip, that's the meme.
Two games in and we've already got the measure of carry. Yeah, mic drop and you're out. Arne, congratulations. Look, why wouldn't you be in a great mood? 2 games in the Premier League, 2 wins, 2 clean sheets. It couldn't have started much better.
No, indeed. Especially our defensive performance today was really good, I think. The only 2 small chances one of them was big though. We conceded were out of a set piece. But we controlled their counter-attacks, we controlled them in their build-up, and apart from that we created many good chances, especially the second half.
Yeah, you talk about that control. It's something that the players have mentioned as well. How important is that to the style of football that you want to see? Jamie was saying, I know nobody listens to him, but Jamie was saying a little bit earlier on, he said, you know, this is sometimes, you know, and I know when you spoke during the week about, you know, comparisons to Jurgen Klopp, he said sometimes this is the performance that was needed at times last season. Is that what you saw in terms of how you wanted to improve things?
I think the Liverpool fans saw these performances under Jurgen many times. But what I also mean with control is if we concede a counter-attack, that I see everybody of us sprinting back, trying everything which they can do to not to concede. And that's what happened really well today. Apart from 1 or 2 set pieces, but the good thing was that we defended 1 set piece really well, and as a result of that we even scored the first goal.
One of the things that's been marked in the first 2 games of this season has been the improvement in the second half, and that's borne out by the numbers. Is that something that's in your plan, that you want your teams to grow into the game, or is that something that's just happening, that's part of the development?
No, ideally you see the same in the first half as the second half, but I think we position ourselves quite well everywhere around the pitch, and we try to create an extra player over there in the midfield. And in the first half there's more energy in the other team than in the second half, but if you keep on insisting on what you do and the execution becomes better, and in the second half I think the positioning was a bit better as well, then it eventually leads to gaps that open up, and I think especially in the end you could see that Brentford didn't have the legs anymore to defend us, and that also has to do with what we put in the first half.
There were some lovely passages of play. I think one particular springs to mind in the second half when you bang, it was like beautiful football. Is that what we have to expect from you? Is that what you want your team to do all the time?
Yeah, ideally, of course we do, but that, I think that attack you mentioned, that is all to do with the quality of the players. So we didn't train that one. It's just play and move, and then you can see if the only thing I have to do, we have a staff has to do, is bring them as much as we can in those positions, and then the quality of these players will eventually lead to chances, and as a result of that, goals. Although it took quite a long time today before we scored the second one, but we created many chances, I think, in the second half.
Anna, can I ask you about the role of Trent Alexander-Arnold in the game? I mean, obviously spoke to you in the week about the role of the fullbacks in the build-up. I was just interested to see him almost playing in like a right-sided number 10 position at times in the build-up. Is that something we've got to get used to, in that there's not a real set every game, but you will alter it compared to what the opposition are doing?
It's a bit of both. I think Trent has many qualities. One of them is his crosses from the side. So if we only play him in the midfield, then he can only pass the ball, which he can do quite well as well. But I also want him in dangerous positions in and around the goal and in crossing positions. So he has a lot of freedom to position himself, and the rest has to react on it. And it also depends on how the opposition lines up and where we can get the best out of him.
Is that a tactical plan before the game, or do you give Trent a little bit of freedom where he's got to decide what positions he takes up, considering where the opposition are or who's on the ball for Liverpool?
No, we try to influence them as much as we can before the game, me and my staff, to say, okay, maybe here or there can open up gaps for you to come in. But 9 out of 10 times the opponent does something else against us than against other teams. At least that was in my Feyenoord period, and it was the last 2 games here as well. So then you try to adjust during halftime and see for him where he can be the free player. Is that the word to use? And then he has the qualities to play everywhere. So he can pass the ball as a 6. He can cross the ball as a right winger. And if he's inside, he can also cross it from the inside or get his shots on target over there. So it's a difficult one to play against, Trent. Yeah.
Your other fullback, Andy Robertson, we spoke about the chance that he had in the first half, where he started quite narrow and the ball was switched to him, and if he was in a more wider fullback position, he probably wouldn't have had that chance. Is that again something which is your influence with the fullbacks?
I don't know if it's my influence, but I spoke to Jamie about this as well. If the fullbacks are a bit more narrow, the passes are shorter and it gives less time to the opponent to defend. And with them being on the inside, it also creates massive 1v1s on the sides for Lucio and for Mo, or for Cody. So it's a bit of both. And of course, if we lose it, he's not out wide, but he is on the inside, so it prepares us better for the counter-attack.
And there's a couple of things that you've mentioned that you're very happy with, a couple of things that you're still talking about improvement on. How long do you think it is? I don't mean an absolute date in terms of weeks, but how long do you think it's going to take
Sunday you'd be okay, wouldn't it?
to evolve for the Manchester United game? But look, how long do you think it takes for the side to get used to you, for you to get what you want exactly from them?
Oh, if I'm honest, I think most players are quite used to what we want, but that has a lot to do with us doing not so many things different than Jurgen did in the past. So there are only slight changes maybe, but most of it is the same. And like if we lose the ball, how aggressive they are, how hard they run back because they don't want to concede. And of course there are details maybe a bit different, but it also has to do with the opponent you face. And I think Ipswich and Brentford made it really difficult for us. But I'm not expecting them in the top 6 this season, so we have to prove a lot still if we face teams that can end up in the top 6.
Arne, thanks so much for coming out to talk to us. Congratulations on a great start to the season.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Nice to meet you. Good luck.
So while Arne Slot makes his way from this game here at Anfield, where Liverpool have made that a 2-0 victory. Look, in terms of Arne Slot, Jamie, you met him earlier in the week. Cara, you met him earlier in the week. Jamie, it was your first chance to get to talk to him and see what he was all about. What did you make of him?
He's a nice man, isn't he? He doesn't try to baffle you with science. He doesn't try to overcomplicate it. He talks about the game in the right way. And I think if you look at what he's trying to do at Liverpool, you're certainly in the midfield area, you probably think this is a really nice team to play in. He wants to play possession football. He wants to get people on the ball in the right positions. He's not going to make it too difficult for players to understand. Everyone's obviously going to have their role. He spoke about there are basics that will never change in football. When you've got it, you keep it as much as you can. And I watched him a few times when they lost the ball. He got a little bit frustrated just to calm down. And when you haven't got it, you run back as quick as you can and you go and press people and get the ball back. And all of a sudden the game then changes hands. And that's what you're trying to do. He's a calm guy. He's not trying to be Jurgen Klopp. He's just trying to be his own man. And it is going to take time. It's going to take a lot of patience. Next week, we're going to learn a lot more about his team when he has to go to Old Trafford for the first time. And if he can go there and get another 3 points, everything is looking great. But so far, it's been a great start for him. And I love how he's played it. He's not fist bumps and trying to be something that he's not. He's authentic to himself. He's coming across really well. He's a good football man. I'm sure the fans are appreciative of what he's doing. And it seems to be quite a calm transition, because there's no other way to do it, really. When you're following someone like Jurgen Klopp, you have to just be yourself.
He also talked about the fact that he's not changed too much from what went before and was successful under Jurgen Klopp. But also Virgil van Dijk talked about the meetings that he's having with a lot of the players, that he's giving them a lot of information and talking them through a lot of his ideas. How important is it for managers not just to be able to communicate their ideas, but to do it in a way that doesn't overwhelm them, is he?
Yeah, it's very difficult, and I think on the flip side, being a player with a new manager coming in is very difficult as well, because as human beings we don't like change, but it happens, it's inevitable. It's how you deal with it, and obviously you know, to echo what Jamie said there, it seems like a seamless transition. It seems like he's an excellent reader of people, and I think first and foremost as a manager you probably have to be that. You have to understand how much information can the players take on, how much, you know, everything's operated by sports science these days. So on the pitch that's taken care of. It's just what detail you give the players on the training pitch, how much analysis you do, how little you do. Is it one-to-one meetings? Is it unit meetings? There's so much to think about and there's so much to do, and I think just being a good human being and being able to read other people is probably why he's had this seamless transition.
Yeah, it's been a seamless transition so far with 2-0 wins for Arne Slot. But every manager will want to put their own stamp on the team, and presumably there'll be players and areas that he wants to strengthen. They've got Michael Edwards back as part of that team, along with Richard Hughes and the rest of the backroom staff. But there have been some really important signings in that time, but not necessarily the big ones right at the beginning. Klopp had to earn the right to go and spend the money on Alisson and Van Dijk.
Yeah, but I think Liverpool are in a completely different position right now to where they were when Jurgen Klopp came in. I mean, that's why Jurgen Klopp is loved so much. It's not because of all the trophies he won. It's because people recognise where Liverpool were at that time. Liverpool, I think, was finished 7th the season before. They weren't a Champions League club, and they had to build up. You're right, Kelly. They had to bring in people like Joel Matip initially. Sadio Mane was a player who everybody in the Premier League looked at and didn't take. Liverpool had to take him. So then you get to the stage where you're bringing in Virgil van Dijk, Alisson, those type of players that were game changers for Liverpool. But Liverpool had to build up to that. I think Liverpool are in a position financially and the state of the club. You look at this stadium, you think of what they've done in the past with Jurgen Klopp, where I think they could go and sign some of the best players out there right now and compete with some of the best teams in the world. Maybe besides Real Madrid, who always have that, you know, lure for players. But I think Liverpool are at the top table. But again, I go back to how Liverpool became successful. And it was being clinical in the transfer market. It wasn't spending money and taking a chance on things. It was when they thought it was right and everything almost ticked the box, they'd go and do it. And I still think they're in that same position. And I'd like them to bring a holding midfield player in. I'd like them to bring in a Nathan Ake type, a Gvardiol, Calafiori, who I think has gone to Arsenal. That type of left-sided centre-back who could do a job at left-back. I think that would be a real fill-up, I think, for Liverpool if they could get someone like that in the next few days. But if not, I would not want them to waste money.
And we know that the profile of the player, there was only one 29-year-old in there, and that was Thiago Alcantara, and then two 26-year-olds, Xherdan Shaqiri and Virgil van Dijk. So we know that they're going to go for a certain profile, a certain age of player.
Well, you look at that first signing, which was Mohamed Salah. At that time, I don't think anybody here was expecting anything like he'd become. Of course, he at Chelsea, and then he went to Fiorentina, and he did okay in Italy, did well. But they looked at him and thought, there's something in this guy. They looked at all the stats. He can become a real star for us. So that should be the objective of the club now. Find the next Mohamed Salah. How do you find who the next player is that's going to come in and light this place up? It isn't easy, but that's why you got Michael Edwards. That's why you got Richard Hughes. People, I know Richard well. He's a complete football man. His encyclopedic knowledge on players, games, he knows everything about the game. And so there's going to be a certain amount of pressure on him. But like Jamie said, don't rush. There's no point bringing in like a Band-Aid. I said it earlier on. You want someone that's going to come in and make this team better, not somebody that's just going to come in and just give you another number that's actually going to be a bit of a pain, because you just want to work with the top players here, and that's what will make sure they can get success from that.
And so far it's gone to plan for Liverpool with 2-0 wins in their opening games in this Premier League campaign.